elaborate on that.
Like somebody might say something to me and I would have got angry. Or something, okay, my cup broke. I accidentally broke my cup this morning and it didn't worry me at all. But some time ago, maybe I would have gone, oh, that was my favourite cup, I'm really attached to that cup. I don't think about, it's not a conscious thing that I'm saying I have to be not attached to that cup. It just sort of slowly becomes a habit that you let go of things.
Okay. So Venerable Wangshan, did you hear online? Will I repeat in summary what Venerable Wangshan said? Wangshan. Sorry, that's the one in New Zealand, but that works for me. The two. I like it. The Venerables combined. Venerable Wangmo said, so Venerable Wangshan broke her cup this morning, and you go, oh, she did what? No, they didn't say that, but that's another elaboration. But what Venerable Wangmo observed was the fact that whereas in the past, her favourite cup getting broken might have arisen some disturbance to the mind based on her attachment to her beautiful cup, right? So what she is indicating is the fact that perhaps then, because she's using the wisdom aspect, we could say you're using the aspect more in line with reality, in sync with reality, that you've relinquished a certain degree of attachment or placing an import on top of this cup, my favorite, that is from the mind. So by relinquishing that, and that's what the Buddha is saying, by relinquishing all of these imputations, then we are happier. This is the way to freedom. This is the way to liberation, that we recognize, oh yes, I have that attachment, but it doesn't matter, There's
no basis for the attachment.
There's no basis for there's no basis of beautiful cup. It's like me with my travel cup, previously mine, travel cup, which has still got an image of in my mind, but it's no longer mine because I have, I've given up. And please, I have enough travel cups. I'm not putting it out there to people who know me, know there's cups everywhere that are mine, because I do leave them in places. Anyway, so it's that once you relinquish that, there's an incredible freedom, isn't there? It's just like the mind just goes, okay, cool, isn't it? You have freedom. I mean, people are nodding here, so I think we get it.
But if you'd asked me at the same time, okay, do you have a greater understanding of wisdom realizing emptiness now than you did before? I'd say, no, I don't understand it at all, but maybe I do a little bit.
So Venerable Wangmo is saying maybe she has some understanding of wisdom realizing emptiness from this. Maybe or maybe not, I can't say that, but we could say that your relinquishment of that cup, in other words, not allowing that mind to disturb you, is certainly a direct antidote to that desire, that mind of desire. And then now that you're reflecting on it from the perspective of wisdom realizing emptiness, then you're getting a better understanding of emptiness, of inherently beautiful cup. So now you have that, because now you're analyzing. So our first thing is like an emotional response, isn't it? Or the absence of the emotional response. So, and then we analyze on top of that. And then that's where the wisdom kicks in. So very good. Rachel.
My question is just, I'm trying to think of a framework to approach this idea. Is this consistent with where we're headed? So realizing the inherent ultimate emptiness of things would be a transition of a continuum of thinking from seeing the whole to the parts.
Okay, we haven't got to that bit yet.
Oh.
So Rachel's jumping ahead to the next bit, because there's, yeah, as I said, there's different ways we approach this to try and get a handle on it, right? And that's what we're coming up. So that will come, yes. So I don't need to repeat it because it's coming along anyway. So due to our ignorance, we grasp at or become fixated on things, events, persons, phenomena, the whole kit and caboodle, ourselves, others, and so forth. Our common fixation. So first of all, Rachel's jumping ahead to the conclusion. No, our minds do. But first of all, we still have to identify the mind. What is this object of negation? How does this function? How is it that I stay trapped in these, even though intellectually I get it, nonetheless, I stay trapped in this grasping at, I mean, you know, you hear these teachings over and over and over again, but I still, as I said, I still see this table as permanent, solid, unchanging. I know intellectually the table is not permanent. I mean, first of all, someone had to make it into a table, had to get the wood, etc. We can elaborate the whole story. I know that even as it exists here, you know, it is physics, isn't it? It has told me that it's made up a whole bunch of molecules and atoms whizzing around in space. But I still want to be able to put things on it, so I want it to be solid. So conventionally, it is functioning as a solid table. Thank you very much, matter, for coming together in this particular conglomeration to make table and to make it function until such time as it ceases to function as a table, and then it's no longer table. It might be a pile of firewood by then. Graham.
Can I show you something I found in this book which sort of made my eyes open a bit?
What book is it first? Oh.
You quoted it some time ago.
Did I?
Just read, I don't know if that makes sense to you.
Okay, so this is The Power of Intention, Dr. Wayne Dyer. Which one am I reading? The Material World. Solid form is energy slowed down so that it's approximately commensurate with your sense perception of the world of boundaries. Fascinating.
I just, it fell open. I was moving it, cleaning up the office, and that opened up, and I just read that line, and I just thought, oh, wow.
I think it's interesting. Everything that you see and touch is energy slowed down so that it appears to be coalesced mass.
Yeah, because it's all.
It appears to be. I like the appears to be coalesced mass. In other words, it appears to be something solid, fixed, permanent. Your eyes and fingers agree, and there you have the physical world.
I just thought that really...
I'd say it's eyes and mind, and there you have the physical world. I'd add mind in there. I mean, the Buddha would add mind in there. Thank you. Way to go. See? We find these snippets, and because we can approach them from a Buddhist perspective, they may have a different resonance, don't they? It's great. So whatever you can use. So due to these fixations, sensual pleasures, and this is where it comes, I mean, sensual pleasures or even sensual fixations. So on the basis of the senses, we see shape, form, and color. So the flowers, which I haven't completely destroyed. I mean,
There are more. If you need, feel the need.
yeah, now I've got a bunch of petals, which aren't so beautiful as the flowers because they're not in the same configuration, you know, the shape's changed, right? So these beautiful flowers, I want them to appear beautiful. You know, it's interesting, my mind grasps that beauty of flowers. They have to be beautiful, right? I mean, flowers are beautiful, full stop, right? So this is my mind. This is an opinion of my mind. This is an attitude of mind that I have. Flowers equals beauty, isn't it? So.
And when I go and search for them, I'm looking for the best ones that don't have brown spots or torn or anything.
And Venerable Yangshan finds the best ones with no brown spots, not torn, and yeah, complete flowers. So very, you know.
So more projection.
Yeah. So even we can say all our offerings on the altar, which we say we offer the flowers, we offer the water, we offer all of that. That is also, it's really, we've got to see from our side. So this is a virtuous mind, just like Venerable Yangshan's virtuous mind of wanting to get the most gorgeous flowers from her side. So from her perspective, these are the most beautiful offerings I can make. And that is, and this is, there's nothing wrong with that. It's not absolutely nothing wrong with that. Don't stop doing that.
No, but it's not real.
It's not, it is real, but it's not, the beauty is from your side. But it's the same with, it's like because of emptiness, everything is possible. You know, so that our mind transforming everything into beauty, into virtue, into, well, we would say Dharma, everything, absolutely everything and anything, Rachel.
Maybe it's like how you can give flowers to someone because from your side it's beautiful, but if they have an allergy, from their side it's not beautiful.
Yeah, from their side it's not beautiful if they've got an allergy to the flowers. But your offering is still valid.
But it points to like you're
Yeah.
saying, think like that because of emptiness, everything's possible.
Everything's possible. And because I have a view, I have an opinion that flowers are beautiful, and when the person with an allergy reacts to it, I get upset. Right? But it's my mistaken view in the first place that upset me, not the fact that hopefully I'm concerned about my poor friend who's got an allergy to the flowers, because it's just cut across my sense of, I'm going to offer you the most great gift I can. And then you'll be happy with me. Yeah, there could be a few strings attached, right? So we have all sorts of views and opinions. The most dangerous ones are holding on to wrong views, views that contradict reality. And this is why the Buddha taught this, to refute. And like Lama Tsongkhapa, and that's why we spent 6.5 years on this, and I wish I could remember it. But that, you know, to look at our own wrong conceptions. And this is why, you know, when you do go on and study Buddhist philosophical thought, when, I didn't say if, I said when, right? When you do, just a little seed in there. Duly noted. So when you do, we look at all these different views of lower schools and we go, oh, that's the lower schools. Watch out, because they're views in our own mind, right? So that's what we're really looking at. Let's refine our way of understanding this. You know, we start at this very introductory level, but what views and opinions I have about absolutely anything that are incorrect and can be proven to be incorrect. So we have to analyze that. And sure, this sense of self and so forth, I mean, that's the deep end of the pool, but we can analyze that in terms of absolutely anything in the world, and where people then clash because my view is the right view and I'm going to make you agree with me, which doesn't exist anywhere from its own side. So you can see how crazy we are. And then we have these rules and ethics. Of course, it's on the basis of ethics, our Buddhist ethics, and understanding, you know, what are virtuous and non-virtuous behaviors, what to engage in and what to abandon. Of course, we need that. But, you know, okay, on the rule side, I can give examples of. So when I first came here, for example, and it's not a criticism of anybody, it's just how our minds function. And I first came here and I was used to certain things of how we did things in Sydney at Vajrayana Institute. I've been around a while, I've been to different centres. I know everyone does everything differently, right? And so I'd do something and say, oh, we don't do it like that here. And I say, well, that can change. No, we don't do it like that here. And it's not a criticism of anybody. I mean, I might say the same thing if I was at in Sydney, and say, don't we do like that here? And that's really interesting because we have a lot of things that come up like that on a regular daily basis, isn't it? Venerable Yangshin's nodding, you know, recognizing these things. So I can give one example. We make these water bowl offerings, right? Very beautiful. Venerable Yangshin and Venerable Wangmo are going to be doing that if anybody wants to assist at lunchtime, perhaps. Yeah, then beautiful. So and those of you who have done the module on establishing a daily practice would know about this because we went over it then. But if you look in Pabongka Rinpoche, Liberation in the Palm, and that whole history of how we make the offerings and so forth, one of the things is you put them up at the beginning of the day and you take them down at the end of the day, right? So in your home or whatever, the first thing you do is make the water bowl offerings. And then at the end of the day, you take them down, right? So that is the classic traditional way that it's presented of doing things. And then in our centers worldwide, and this, we generally, like at lunchtime, the water bowl offerings will come down and be put back up at the same time. And the reason we're doing that in our centers around the world is because at any time of day, Lama Zopa Rinpoche makes the offerings of all the offerings in all the centers in the world of FPMT, right? You know, offers, you know, all those offerings. And so we don't want to miss that opportunity, you know. When I was at Lama Zopa Rinpoche's house in Aptos, they had to be done over there in America by 2 p.m. I mean, we always did them before lunch, so that then it was finished at lunchtime, 5 hours, and then you have lunch. And then, you know, whatever else you're going to do for the day. So
5 hours worth of water bowls.
yes, 3 of us.
Yeah, there's many, many water bowls, isn't there?
Every single conceivable ledge has offerings, right? Has images, offerings, from the teeniest up to the biggest, you know, just, it's so profound for the miners, great practice. You know, unfortunately, I mean, fortunately I was there for a month, but unfortunately I wasn't there longer. And one of the other nuns who was there for much longer said, oh, you can do your water bowl, Nyondro, you can do your, because you're there doing it. Yeah, I think she probably did it a few times over. I'm not sure how long she was there. How amazing, you know, really beautiful practice. So anyway, it was anyway. So there we would do like that. When I was in Sydney at Vajrayana Institute, I was there on a day when it was early on when I was going to Vajrayana Institute, and there'd been a lot of offerings done for someone. And then I was there with 2 other volunteers, and one of them said to Geshe Samten, we could take those down tomorrow, you know, which is sort of what we do here. And Geshe said, no, you take them down now, you know, end of the day, right? And so this is what Lama Zopa Rinpoche says, that it depends, like, okay, I know the centers do like this, but if your Geshe says to do it differently, you do what the Geshe says. And so we can have conversations, oh, but my teacher says to do it like this, and my teacher says to do it like this, and so and so, and it's just like, whatever Geshe Tsogyam says, we do. So it keep it simple, because our opinions get in the way, and then we might have conflicts with each other about that, right? We're all wanting to do the wonderful thing, the good thing, and we all might have a different idea of what's the most beautiful way of doing that thing. I mean, sometimes at the end of the day, you have to go, how important is it? Like your beautiful cup. How important is that in the greater scheme of things? That can be, I find that a useful way. One of my friends, and not Buddhist, many, many years ago, I found this helpful. And she would say, just think, how important will this be in 10 years' time? So it sort of gave me, you put it into a bigger perspective, because the mind gets into this tunnel vision of, it has to be like this. And you squeeze, isn't it? Relax. Okay, so I'm not saying abandon all rules henceforth, but even with our vows, welcome. If you want to have a look around, please do. Feel free. Some visitors coming up to the Gongpa. With our vows, and I know when I took ordination, somewhere, maybe it was the senior nun who was preparing me possibly, and said, you know, anyway, I got the advice. It's really good to just take one of those vows and analyze where it's come from, right? And so I took one, and not just where it's come from, but also how your mind deals with that. And I took one which in my mind was about attachment, and it was really good to just analyze those levels of attachment beyond relinquishing the cup, you know, just going to deeper levels of attachment I thought I dealt with, right? I thought, dealt with that one, done, right? Yeah, right. Because we live in a desire realm, it's going to keep... I didn't think I dealt with attachment, believe me, just to this one particular thing. Believe me, I did not feel I eliminated attachment. You know, I'm deluded, but not that deluded. Okay. And then, as we've been discussing, the attachment to the self. Okay, the remedy, because we're sort of halfway through session one. To realize with wisdom the reality of emptiness, that all things lack such independent essences, so that it's completely not how I think it. There's nothing there from its own side. So there's no God particle. There's no particle, and this is the particularists, wasn't it? That there's got to be some partless particle, some partless particle. So I think in how far have they gone in physics? They've gone down to
quarks, isn't it? Down to quarks.
Oh, they're way beyond quarks.
They're way beyond that.
Oh, they're way beyond quarks. There's more subtle levels. They're getting to more and more subtle levels, but because they're still looking for some material thing that exists from its own side, the Buddha says, you're dreaming. It does not exist. It is not there from its own side. There's no such thing as a partless particle, right? But we have to investigate that. As the Buddha said, don't just take my word for it. Okay, so we have to realize there's nothing, there's no essence of me. That's pretty spooky, isn't it? Or anything else from its own side. And this, understanding that, dispels our ignorance, releases its mind from its grasping, that fixating, that grasping at what? Nothing, something that doesn't exist. Okay. And then on top of this grasping at a self, when we looked at there's grasping, we grasp at this self, and on top of that, there's self-cherishing, because then there's mine, my body, my country, my family, my. It's my cup, whatever, mine. You know, years ago, I started a new job, and I went into the kitchen and I said, oh, you can make yourself a cup of tea. And I said, oh, do any of the cups belong to anyone? No, we just share all the cups. Of course, in these COVID times, we'd be saying, actually, bring your own cup, right? But at that time, so I picked a cup, and guess what? I picked the one cup in the place that someone said, that's mine. And so I thought, day one, and I've upset someone by taking their cup. Having been told, well, nobody's got a cup, you know, but these, you know, this is how our attachments work, isn't it? This is how our afflicted states of mind work. Okay. All right.
I walked into a staff room once, and, you know, staff rooms, you sit anywhere and just have lunch, but I happened to pick, don't sit in that chair, that's so-and-so's chair, yes.
Venerable Wongmo did that by so-and-so's chair in the lunchroom. Yeah. I mean, we can consider it maybe not here. I was looking around and going, because we're in these COVID times, but I think when I used to go to university or school, or you had your seat, wasn't it?
You were allocated.
You were allocated a seat, and that's your seat. It's almost like got your name on it. Well, it has, none of those seats have your name on it, really, is it? But our minds put our name on it. But that's my seat. I always sit there. So when I was teaching theatre, I'd get everyone to, well, it was theatre, okay, move around and shuffle it up and so forth. You can do that when you're teaching theatre. You can't do it when you're teaching other things. It'd be a bit of wisdom side. Maybe not when Gompo's teaching in the school. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he does do that. Okay. All right. So I'm just wondering, what's the time? Is it 10:30 already? Break time? Is it break time, folks? Should we have a break? We're sort of... Anyway, it's all right. We're introducing all this stuff. We'll take a break now. Will we have a half-hour break? We will. So we'll come back at 11. I don't know if so we can leave people online to chat.
Stop the recording. And
The recording will stop, but you can also, everyone can stay online and chat. Get yourself a cuppa and come back. And if everyone's not back, okay. See you this afternoon or tomorrow, Sarah. And it should be recorded, right?
Yes.
After this. Leonie said, yes, it will be. Okay, so yeah.
We'll remember the second time.
It'll be recorded. And thank you, Ingrid, for giving the prompt, or whoever it was.
Sarah sent me a message.
Oh, Sarah, everyone sent messages. Okay, everyone sent messages to record. All right, half an hour break, and we'll continue on with our investigation.